Hello all, today we are going to study chapter number 2, that is Principle of Management of class 12th. So in this class we are going to study the principle of management, meaning, nature, importance, and Henry Fayol's principle which has been given by him, and those are very important as far as nature is concerned for the real life and your examination as well. So what is the principle of management exactly is? So what do you understand? The first thing is the principle of management are the general guidelines, right? These are the general guidelines which gives you an insight that how to take the business decisions, how you have to take the business decision for the business so that the work can be get done effectively and efficiently, right? So they are principle, they are the general guidelines which you have in your mind, and on the basis of that you take the business decision so that the business can be done efficiently and effectively. Now how do they derived, how they are made? They are made on the basis of the observation. Some people have observed the things while they are working, and then somebody has done the experimentation while working, and some with the experience. So there are number of things on the basis of that these principles have been made, and these are very useful for the current managers, so they can go through that and they can implement into your business. Now what are the things which we can associate with the principle of management? The first thing is they are general guidelines. So they are general guideline that gives you an insight that how to take the business decision in the given situation. But these are general guideline only, they are not the physical science rule which cannot be amended or which cannot be uh, bit of that you can change according to your requirement, right? Based on experience. Now these all are based on experience. That means one of the person or one of the management group which has given their kind of principle of management, they have gone through the observation of their organization, and with the trial and error method, with the different kind of observation, bit of experimentation, by that they have come with all these kind of principle of management. Now principle of managements are goal oriented. When you are studying any kind of principle of management and you are trying to implement that principle of management into your business, so why that is being done? That is being done to achieve the goal of the organization which you have set up for, right? So whatever the goal or the objective you have set up for your business, you want to achieve that over a period of time, right? Usually financial year, one of the year in which you want to achieve that particular goal. So principle of management are always goal oriented. The next thing is nature of principle of management. What kind of principle of management nature they have? The first thing, universal applicable. They are applicable universally, whether you are working in New Delhi, whether you are working in Sydney, right, whether you are working in New York. So they will work everywhere. So they are universal in nature, they are applicable everywhere. The flexibility, the principle of management are flexible. That means they can be changed according to the time, situation, and your requirement. So bit you can change upon, right? So they are flexible in nature. I given an example in the first chapter that if you are increasing the salary of a person in India, that can be motivated to the person. But if you are increasing the salary in New York of a person, he might not get motivated because he is more concerned about the work culture, the work environment, or the holidays of the organization. So there are number of things which affect when you are taking the decision. So they principle gives you the insight, but they are flexible in nature. They are not the pure science exactly. General guideline, these are the general guideline, not the rigid. If you are not implementing that, nobody is going to come into your organization why you did not comply this, right? So these are the general guideline which gives you an insight, which gives you a proper guideline how to do a particular task in a given situation. So these are the general guideline which enlighten you to take the business decision in a well manner, right? cause and effect relationship. Now principle of management, what happens? Principle of management gives you the cause and effect relationship. That means what is the cause of that particular event which has happened into your business, and what will be the impact of that particular thing in your business, right? The example is, let's say nowadays there are number of things, there are the attrition is very high in the IT companies, and the share, let's say I'm taking an example, the share of the IT companies are going down. What is the cause? Cause is the AI, right? The AI is implemented in the organization in a very fast pace, and that is why the people are saying the IT company will vanish, the other company with the IT technology, they will come up and they will replace the IT company. That is why the share of the company is going down, right? And what is the effect? The effect is the people are leaving the organization, the people are taking their money off from these companies. That is why the shares are going down. The stock exchange is not very positive about the IT company. So this is called cost and effect relationship. The principle of management gives you the cost and impact relationship, and that is why it is called scientific in nature. That is why management is called scientific nature, not a pure science, but still it is a scientific in nature. Now influence the behavior, influence the human behavior. Now one of the things which says that the principle of management are dealing with the human behavior, and that is true, because one of the dimension of the management is people, right? People are there whom you have to deal every day. So when the people are there and you are dealing with them, so obviously the principle of management gives an insight how to deal with the people, so that ultimately people are, or the human resources are, which are pushing up all other resources for the production. That is why your principle of management are influencing the human behavior. So this is your nature of principle of management, right? The next thing is importance of management. Why principle of management are important at all? हमें ज़रूरत क्यों पड़ती है? क्या हमें इसकी ज़रूरत है भी या नहीं है? क्यों हमें the manager who are studying principle of management, Indian Institute of Management, Indian Institute of Technology, etc., why those people are being hired in a very fat salary or hefty salary? Now the importance is improve efficiency. Now the people, the manager who knows about the principle of management, they optimize the resource utilization and reduces wastage. And how do they do that? They understand the employee's behavior, they know the weaknesses of the employee, they create a corrective action plan for the employee with the help of training, etc., like training, education, and development. So with the help of that, what happens? The employee gets motivated. At the same time, they get some kind of skill to perform their task, and they polish their skills, and with the help of that they produce more. At the same time, they reduce the wastage, and that is how the improve efficiency, right? And if you are doing with lots of people in the organization, so obviously organization efficiency will improve. Then comes the better decision. When you don't have the knowledge about the business and you are taking the business decision, obviously you are not going to take the good decision which are going to impact positively your business. But what happens when you have already all the knowledge? Let's take an example. When you are going into the UT, let's say your UT is going to be scheduled, right? When you are already know about your chapter number 1, that is nature and significance of management, principle of management, and then business environment, and you go to your UT, you are very confident and you answer very well. But when you are not aware of these things, what you will do, that you will use your common sense and you will write all the answer. It can be right, it can be wrong. Obviously it is not going to be very effective and you are not going to get the good marks. But when you have all the knowledge in place in your mind, so you are going to write the refined answer. You already know what to write for a particular question, and that is what gives you the immense knowledge exactly how to write the answer, and you get the good marks. Similarly happens in the business, when you know each and everything of the principle, then you take the good business decision. Then comes the team coordination. Now what is team coordination? Principle of management are always related to the human behavior. So whenever you are studying the principle of management, what you study is the human behavior as well, and how the principle of management are related to the human behavior. So you are always going to understand the people, their requirement. On the basis of that, you suggest them what kind of objective are there for themselves, and then you coordinate the effort of all the employee, and that is how the team coordination comes into picture. So this is one of the things which is very much based on the importance of principle of management. Then comes the organization growth. Organization growth, how that happens? When you are constantly motivating the employee who are not working, right? You are giving training to the people who are not able to do good work, or you are motivating people who are not justifying their talent, or there are certain people who are indisciplined, you are giving them corrective action plan, at the same time you are giving them training. So what happens? The efficiency of each and every employee increases, and that increases the efficiency of the department, and ultimately that increases the efficiency and growth of the organization, right? When everybody is doing their 100% or more than that, so what happens? Ultimately that benefits come to the organization, and organization generates more revenue or more profit, and that is how the organization growth happens. So principle of management are very important right from the starting of your business and until the growth of the business organization, right? So this is called importance of principle of management. Now we have studied about the principle of management, what is the nature, why this has been formed, and what is the importance of principle of nature. Now we have to study the principles given by two management guru. The one is Henry Fayol and the other one is Frederick Winslow Taylor. So first we are going to study the principle which has been given by the Henry Fayol. Henry Fayol is the French mining engineer and management theorist who was working at the top level of the organization. From the top level, he has observed people working in the organization. He has worked how the work is being done. He has done some kind of experimentation as well. If the work is changed, how the work can be done. So he has come up with one of his book that is called General Principle of Administration, right, in which he has given 14 principle of management, right? And believe me, all those 14 principles are still applicable in the business organization and the other organization, and very important for all the managers and the entrepreneurs who are actually trying to be a good manager. Now what are those principles? First is division of work. Now division of work, people get confused about that. Student makes answer, especially in the viva of the business studies. Division of work means dividing the work among the people equally. It's not like that. Division of work means we have a work, we divide the work in the smaller part. We are dividing the work not among the employee. We are taking a work, we are dividing the work in a smaller part, and every small part is given to the employee on the basis of their education, qualification and competency and their experience. And then what happens? One person who is doing one kind of particular activity over a period of time, when he do it again and again, he does it again and again, so he become master of that, and compared to the other people, he does it in a very proficient manner. So I am taking an example of your school only. When you are studying commerce, you have English teachers, you have accountancy teachers, you have maths teachers, you have business studies teacher, you have one more English, accountancy, maths and economics, right? So these are the teacher you have. So what happens? Your commerce has been divided into 5 parts, and every teacher has been given a different task for the class. And what happens? These teachers are teaching this subject for the number of years, and what happens? They become master of that, and we get specialization of that. Specialization, right? We get specialization. We get specialization of that particular activity, because one person can do that activity when he is doing for years in a much better way compared to the other. So that is called division of work. Okay, divide the work in the smaller part, give that smaller part on the basis of qualification, experience and the competency to the one person, and those people are doing small activity over a period of time and they become master of that, and we get the benefit of the specialization. This is division of work. Then comes the authority and responsibility. First, understand what is the meaning of authority. Authority meaning is giving order to other, the right to give order to subordinates, that is called authority. And responsibility means answerability to your supervisor for any kind of work. So this principle says authority and responsibility should go together in balance, right? Whatever the responsibility you are giving, you should give authority as well. If you are giving any person authority, you should give responsibility as well. If you are not giving any kind of responsibility, he will become an uncontrolled man in the organization and he will use his authority. If somebody has been given responsibility only and not the authority, he won't be able to complete his task because he has not been given any kind of right to give order to the other. So that is why Henry Ford suggested that they should give in a proper order, in a very coordinated way. They should go together in a very balanced manner, right? So this is authority and responsibility. Then comes the principle of discipline. This is very much required in any kind of business or any kind of organization. So this says the rules, regulation and code of conduct should be clear to all employee, and that should be applicable right from bottom to the top level. It's not like that the fourth class employee or at the factory level there should be rules and regulation or the code of conduct of the organization, and that is binding upon the employee, and there is no rules regulation for the top class employee. It's not like that. So it says there should be a code of conduct which should be abide by all the employee right from the bottom to the top, right? So that is called discipline. Rule regulation of the organization should be complied by all, right? So there should be a mechanism if somebody is not complying that, so there should be mechanisms to deal with that person, right? Then comes the unity of command. Now unity of command means these two are very important, unity of command and unity of direction. Students get confused in these two things. Unity of command means unity of command. Command should be coming from one person to one employee, right? There should be one boss to one employee. एक employee को एक ही boss से order आने चाहिए. There should not be 2-3 bosses who are giving order to the different to the same person. So one employee should get order from the one boss only, so that there should not be any confusion about the responsibility and accountability of the employee. Now what happens if you have more number of supervisor or the people giving you order? Let's say I'm giving you your school example. Let's say in fourth period somebody says go to field, you will have assembly, and somebody says okay, there is no assembly, you can go to the dance room and you can have practice of dance. Or somebody comes in your class and he says he will take the period and you have to study in this period. So what will happen? There will be chaos in your class. Somebody will go to the field, somebody will go to the dance room, somebody will go to the classroom for study. So there would be a chaos. Rather there should be authority who comes to you and say that this is the period and you have to go there, you have to stay in your class, and that you have to follow, and you know that person who is going to do that. And mostly what happens, your class teacher comes and he gives you the instruction what to do. So that is happens in the business organization as well. If one employee is there, he should get order from one boss only, This is called unity of command. Command should be coming from one boss only. Now comes the unity of direction. Now what is unity of direction? Unity of direction says when people are working similar kind of work. Let's say I'm giving you an example of marketing department. If somebody is doing sales, somebody is making ads, somebody is making posters, somebody is working on digital marketing, somebody is working with the color theme, right? Somebody is working with the vendor who are providing you the colors, etc., etc. So all these people are working towards the one thing, that means advertising and popularizing the product, and they are similar in nature. So as per the unity of direction, when different kind of people are working different activity but they are similar in nature and their objective is same, right? Different kind of activity which has same nature and objective is same, they should have one boss and they should be categorized in one department. So here that would be marketing department, right? All these people are working different activity but the nature is same for the advertisement, and the objective is to popularize the thing whatever you are manufacturing. So that should be under one boss who will take care of all these activity and held responsible for whatever you are doing in the organization, and that department should be one where all the people are working. So unity of direction says all those people who are doing the similar kind of activity with one objective should have one boss and they should be categorized into one department. That is called unity of direction. So unity of direction is concerned with similar kind of work under one boss and with one department, whereas unity of command means one employee is getting command or order from one employee, one boss. So this is the difference between unity of command and unity of direction. I hope I am clear, right? The next thing is subordination of individual interest to the general interest. So what happens, the organization, we have organization in, let's say first we will start with, let's say we have individual interest, right? So individual are working, then you have the department, then you have the segment of the business, then you have the organization objective. So if somebody is saying I need to get the more salary, but that is not the policy of the organization, right? So obviously let's say there is a chartered accountant who is working as a finance manager, and finance manager salary is 15 lakh, which has been as per the organization policy, and if he is asking 20 lakh rupees, so you cannot give that 20 lakh rupees even though he is very important for the organization. So that is infringing the organization policy. The organization objective will supersede and that person will not be allowed to give more than 15 lakh rupees salary. So in this, subordination of individual interest means individual interest will subordinate whereas the organization objective will supersede, right? And this is the way individual interest will not supersede the department. So departmental interest will supersede compared to the individual interest. Similarly, business segment interest will supersede to the department, and similarly department, whatever the department objective is, their objective of organization will supersede to the segment, right? So this is the way how this principle says that individual interest doesn't count. We have to see the organization objective, we have to see whether all the work is being done, all the interests are being satisfied according to the requirement and the objective of organization. That is called subordination of individual interest compared to the organization interest, right? The segment you would not be able to understand. Segment means ITC has different segment. They are manufacturing tobacco, they are into the IT, they are into the hotel business, they are into the garment business, they are into the stationery business, they are into the FMCG business. That is called segment. As Reliance Industry has Petchem business, they have the telecom business, Reliance Jio, you know that. They have the Reliance Retail, Reliance Fresh, etc. You know that. So this is called segment, right? Then comes the principle of remuneration. Principle of remuneration has two parts, right? The one thing which has been given into your book, fair and equitable pay. So as per the principle of remuneration, Henry Fayol suggested that every employee in the organization should be given fair and equitable pay. Fair means that should be according to the market rate. If the market, whatever the market rate is prevailing, you should give according to that. And at the same time, that should be equitable. Equitable means if somebody is doing same work, they should be given same salary. It should not be differentiated on the basis of the sex, caste, religion, color, or any kind of ethnicity, right? So if they are working same work, so they should be given the same salary. And the second aspect is the salary should be paid to the employee according to the paying capacity of the organization. It's not like that you should compete with the other, like TCS. TCS is a very large company. Let's say they are giving salary to their computer engineers 1 lakh per month, and Infosys is not that much large compared to TCS, and they can't afford to give 1 lakh salary. So it's not like that. As per the principle of remuneration, they should also give 1 lakh rupees. They should give according to their paying capacity, right? So this is called principle of remuneration. Then comes the centralization. Now first, centralization and decentralization. Now what is centralization? Centralization means when the power of decision making is concentrated to one person, or the power of decision making is concentrated to few people or a group of people. That is called centralization. And what is decentralization? When power is given to the different people at the different level, so that the work can be done in a fast and efficient manner. Like take the example of India, right? There are certain power which has been given to the central government, like defense, foreign exchange, foreign relationship, etc. Then comes the state government. State government has given the power to take decision for the health, sanitary, policing, education, etc. Then comes the municipality. Municipality has been given different kind of right and work, like hygiene, cleanliness, water supply, etc. So at different level we have different kind of government which have different kind of work. That is called decentralization. Now come here, as far as business is concerned, Henry Fayol says that neither we require centralization where one person is taking all the decision. It cannot happen. If one person, if the large organization is there, he cannot take all the decision. If the working diversity is there, if the organization is very large. At the same time, total decentralization should not be there. That means all the power should, like take the example of India, right? We cannot give the defense to the state level, or we cannot give to the municipality to defend India against our neighbors, right? Or the foreign relations should not be given to the different state. They will act accordingly. So as per Henry Fayol, the centralization and decentralization should go in balance according to the requirement of the business, right? You have to consider what is the size of the business, what is the diversity of the business. So there are a number of things which you have to consider before you are going for the centralization or decentralization. There should be a balance of that, right? So the next thing is scalar chain. Scalar chain means line of authority to give order. So what happens? Let's say there are number of managers who are working in the finance department. Let's say, right? So what happens? They are, let's say he is CFO, uh, he is manager, right? Second one is manager, he is assistant manager. Is assistant manager, then the D class employee. So you cannot say that the CFO is giving order to the D class employee that okay, just submit all these return to the income tax department. He will give order to his subordinates. That subordinate will give order to his subordinate, and then he will give to the D class employee to submit all these documents to a certain organization, right? Similarly, if he requires a leave, the D class employee requires a leave, he cannot go directly to the CFO that I need a leave for tomorrow because somebody is there in my home which require my help. So it's not like that. He will go to his supervisor. His supervisor will go for his supervisor. Then he can take the leave sanction, and then he can convey to the group the employee. This is the way how scalar chain works. That means line of authority, right? But this line of authority can be broken at the time of emergency. If any kind of emergency is there, then you can break this. I have given an example. Let's say a D class employee requires a leave, and somebody is not well in his home. So what he has to do, emergency is there, he need to go to his home. So what he and his boss or supervisor is on leave. So do you think he will wait for another day or another, let's say he is on leave for 1 week, he will wait for 1 week to come to the supervisor so that he can ask for the leave? No. What he can do is he straight away he can break the scalar chain and he can go to the next level. He can go to the next level and he can take the permission from his boss supervisor. So this is called gangplank, where at the time of emergency or in any situation when you are breaking the scalar chain, that situation is called gangplank. I will make another video for that, right? So this is called scalar chain. You have to abide your line of authority, right, for any kind of information and permission. Both it works both the way, from top to bottom and bottom to top. Then comes the principle of order. Maximum students get confused in principle of order. Principle of order is not like that. If somebody is giving order, you have to comply that. It's not like that. Principle of order says everything should have a place. Everything should have a place in the organization to keep it, and everything should be at its place. Now I'm repeating my word. Everything should have a place and everything should be in its place. यानी कि हर चीज के लिए, हर व्यक्ति के लिए एक स्थान होना चाहिए और हर चीज और व्यक्ति अपने स्थान पे होना चाहिए. जैसे मैं आपके स्कूल का एग्जांपल देता हूँ. आपका स्टाफ रूम है. आपका स्टाफ रूम टीचर्स के बैठने के लिए बनाया गया है. तो एवरी टीचर इन हिज फ्री पीरियड इज एक्सपेक्टेड टू sit in that particular staff room. Let's say if you have any kind of doubt and you want to go to your accountancy teacher, straight away you can go to the your staff room. He should be there, he must be there, because this principle says that every person should have a place, everything should have a place. तो हर टीचर के लिए अपनी जगह है, एंड एवरी पर्सन और एवरीथिंग शुड बी इन इट्स प्लेस, और वो चीज अपनी जगह पे भी होनी चाहिए. तो यही प्रिंसिपल को जब हम व्हेन वी आर फॉलोइंग दिस प्रिंसिपल, सो व्हाट हैपेंस व्हेन यू एंटर इनटू द स्कूल, सो व्हाट हैपेंस, यू स्ट्रेट अवे सी द गार्ड्स, सिक्योरिटी गार्ड्स, देन यू गो टू next level, then you see there are people who are sitting at the reception and they are guiding through where is the 12th A, 12th B, 12th C sitting if you are a new student, right? So this is the way how the things. Then you have the sitting plan. Commerce is sitting in one room, the science students are sitting in another room, science with physics, chemistry, biology is physics, chemistry, maths is sitting in one room, physics, chemistry, biology is sitting in another room. So this is the way how the things are in order, and everything should be in order. If you have physics, chemistry, math and you have been given allotted a room, you should always go for physics, chemistry room only, not the physics, chemistry, biology room. So this is called principle of order. Everything should have a place and everything should be in its place. This is called principle of order, so that the order should be there in the business. Then comes the equity. Equity means equality. Equality, that means as a manager or as an entrepreneur in the business, you treat all your employee as equal. You should not build any kind of loyalty, you should not give any kind of preference to any employee. There should not be any kind of differentiation between the employee on the basis of caste, creed, colors, etc., right? So every person should be equal and should be treated equal in the organization. Then comes the principle of tenure. Principle of tenure means whenever you are hiring a new person, you should be given him enough time to show off his talent, or show off that he is capable of doing that task. Most of the time what happens, I am giving you the example of your school only, right? Sometime what happens, let's say your new math teacher comes in and you say, sir, this teacher is not good, our old teacher was very good and he's not understanding our requirement and he's very fast, or he's not explaining the things, he's putting the formula straight away, without telling us why this formula has been kept here. But you are not waiting for that. So this principle says, and let's say your school fire him in the 2 or 3 days. So this should not happen. This principle says that if you have hired a new employee, he is familiarizing himself or finding himself confident in 2 3 days. So what happens, give him enough time so that he can feel secure, he feel comfortable, and he can perform up to his 100% and more than that, and that is called stability of tenure. If he feels secure, then he can perform to his 100%. If anybody you are saying, okay, if you don't perform today, I will fire you tomorrow, then he will not be able, in that kind of pressure situation, he will not be able to perform. So stability of tenure says, if you are hiring the employee, give him enough time to perform his efficiency and his capability over a period of time. So this is called stability of tenure. Then comes the principle of initiative. Principle of initiative is that you should create an environment in the business that every employee at whatever level he is working in your team, he should feel motivated, that he should take first step if he has any kind of business innovative idea, any kind of innovative idea if he has, or any kind of idea which can bring quality in your products, which can reduce your price or cost, which can improve your sale. So he should feel confident that my whatever the idea is there, my boss or my supervisor listen to him. So you have to bring in that kind of situation and that kind of environment in the organization, that everybody feels motivated and he can take the first step, that is initiative, to bring in his idea. Then comes the spirit de corps. Spirit de corps is a Latin American word which is team spirit, right? You should have team spirit in your organization, so that every employee should not feel alone, rather each and everybody is working in tandem in a team, and if anybody require any kind of help, they can freely ask help from the teammate, and that team spirit can bring the performance improvement and growth to the organization. And that is why team spirit is very much required, as far as from the business perspective, as far as from the implementation of the principle of management. As a business manager or as a entrepreneur, you should bring team spirit. You should always replace I with we. That means you should not say I will achieve this, or I will do that, or I can do that. Rather you should say we will achieve that, we can do that, we will do that. This kind of things you should bring in. That means team spirit should come rather than I or me. Don't give importance to individual, rather give importance to the team spirit. So this was the 14th principle given by the Henry Fayol. Then what are the takeaways we have studied till now? अभी तक जो हमने पढ़ा उसका takeaway क्या है? Principle are general guideline, not rules. These are the principle which are general guideline, which gives you a framework within which you can take the business decision. These are not physical science rule which you have to abide at any condition, right? The second thing, all 14 principles are still relevant. All these principles which are taught to all the aspiring managers or aspiring entrepreneurs in MBA, etc., they are still relevant in the business. Even in your school, I told you the principle of order. If you have to find out your teacher, you have to go straight away to the staff room. If you want to find out the principal, you have to go to the principal office. So this is the way how the things work in any of the organization, and this is principle of order given by the Henry Fayol. So all these principles are still applicable. Apply principle of management for the better outcomes. You can run your business without keeping in mind these kind of principles, but ultimately unconsciously these principles you are applying. So it is better to apply, to know all these principles and apply in the conscious way into the business, so that you can satisfy all the employee, you can get maximum out of each employee, and you can maximize the growth potential of the business and the profit of the business, and that is what required in the business. So these are the takeaways for the principle of management which are given by the Henry Fayol. In the next class we are going to study principle of management given by F.W. Taylor.